Hello and welcome to the MoxStars podcast, everybody. My name is Jordan Garcia. I'm one of your hosts here. We're here to talk about Magic today, but I am not alone. I am joined by my two esteemed friends and colleagues, Evan Kunai.
Ah! Hey, what's up, dude?
Yo, what's up, brother?
The opposite of that energy.
Whatever the opposite and antithesis of whatever the fuck that was. This is the rest of the episode.
That's good energy, baby.
It's just the day.
It was energy. It was energy.
It was certainly enthusiastic. I don't know if you can see all that enthusiastic. It was certainly energy. Okay, guys. Well, we're not just a podcast that screams in your face. We actually talk about Magic more often than screaming in your face, but sometimes you're going to get both. Our episode today, we're talking about card evaluation. We've been doing lots of Constructed lately. Commander as per usual. Tons and tons of drafts. Like, we're just kind of draft fiends right now, I feel like. So this is just a great kind of eternal conversation to be having about, like, what do you think of when you see a new card? Like, what are you targeting? How do you assess cards when you see ones in a draft when you're just going in blind? You know, how does that change over time? But before we get started with that, all of our links to our socials down below. Go follow them. There's a link tree that nobody looks at. You can go through that. Find us on YouTube. Give us a little like and subscribe. Future Patreon, stand by. And we have also intro topic. We just had some spicy drops come out today. We have pretty much, I think this is the full release and spoilers. I don't know if we call them spoilers, but of the Secret Lair that is coming out. We're calling this the Secret Lair Super Drop 9,150%. What are we calling this?
The December Super Drop.
Yes, the December Super Drop 2022. I don't know. I feel like we've been cooling on Secret Lair lately, but they found some stuff to reel us back in.
Yeah, this one is actually a lot of fun. I love the styles, and I kind of dig the card selection for reprints.
Yeah,
finally get some decent reprints.
That's something
some interesting choices. There's I'm going to save this bomb for later.
We're saving a bomb. Okay.
Saving a bomb.
All right, well, let's start by looking at the individual sets in this super drop. Okay, we have a artist whose name I can't pronounce, but they got a pretty sick land cycle because we love spending $40 on lands.
You can try to pronounce it. What's it?
Kozadan or something?
I'm going to be honest, I just can't find it on my laptop, so if you want to pull it up and say his name.
Not trying.
I'm going to say... I'm going to say Kozadan.
Right it's literally right for it. Yes, that does look right. Okay, so yeah, if you like spending $40 on 5 lands, that is an option to you.
I think it's a good place to start with this one because the basic land, whatever package they bundle in, the basic land package is just never worth it. I feel
unless
sorry
it's the Godzilla lands.
Yeah, the Godzilla lands. I do wish I could go back. I could get those. I do wish I could go back and get the heavy metal like basic lands.
Those
ones are hot. They're like $40 a piece for foils.
Yeesh.
Yeah, where do you draw the line on spending $10 a piece on a basic land?
Yeah,
like how cool does it have to be?
It's got to be really fucking cool.
Like we can all agree that heavy metal is cool, that Godzilla is cool.
Yes, this is not cool.
You know, you got to be an artist. It's got to be an artist that you love.
Right.
Yeah.
Credit to the artist here. Like
they look good.
They look good.
The art's
great art. Yeah,
100%. It's got to be above and beyond to compete with the basic market these days.
Yeah, they got to look sick. $10 is a huge price markup on $0. So
until they're able to like reformat this website to say like, hey, I just want 5 of these islands, or I want a mix and a blend, and I don't want to have to buy 8 of these. So I can get all of the basic lands I need for my Pioneer deck. Or
I think that should be their one exception with the lands.
That's the thing they should change. Yes.
Basic lands, I should be able to just like, I wouldn't be like, I have all these different decks, and these I love this art. Let me just get 40 of these, 30 of these, 20 of these. Like, I think you'd get so much more money than trying to spend $40.
Yeah,
on
and maybe
$5
a piece instead of $10 a piece.
Ooh,
You're really talking.
You get 20 of them for $100. I'm sure a lot of people would pull the trigger at that price point.
Yes.
And here is something that's been coming up more often now that, like, I guess the shipping prices overseas are kind of absurd for these. And do you know what would be nice is if, because this Secret Lair drop has something specifically that has been pissing a lot of people off over in the UK. I just saw this on Reddit. They marked down, because you know how they list like the price of what it is, and then they cross it out, and then they put a more attractive price, right next to it. Like
everything's on sale.
It's what's on sale. It's what we're actually charging. Well, this bundle, the Transformers bundle, they actually marked it down just enough, like $1, to make it underneath the free shipping threshold.
Oh
Love
boy.
that.
Yeah,
Love that, love
just
that.
subverting that free shipping. So, do you want to be really great, Wizards of the Coast? While I'm praising you for this, I should also criticize you for this, but you should have it so that we can buy single lands for $5 a piece so that we can just edge above that free shipping threshold to, for customer satisfaction. How about that? Just as a simple reason.
It also just strikes me as a better business model.
Yeah, maybe a less predatory one.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if that's their vibe, less predatory. The
Well, they're
trend
like
has been more.
We're
I
going
would
to cut
say.
it just underneath shipping so
We
that you
like a
order
predatory business model, and we stand for it.
so that you order another $30 bundle, and you don't miss the $30, do you?
Okay, so the same artist that did the basic lands that we just shit on for the last 5 minutes did a real cycle, and I want to talk about it. I think it's one of the better value ones. I will say up front, I don't think it's worth spending $350 to get the whole super drop. But this one, you might want to buy a few individual packs. This one is pretty sweet. We have Rapid Hybridization. Sorry, what is the artist name again?
Kozendan.
Thank you.
We're gonna go with Kozendan.
That's what we're sticking.
And actually, kind of interrupt you. It's time for the bomb. While we were talking about it,
Hit me with the bomb.
I thought about it again, and I bought this Secret Lair.
Whoa! This is Secret Lair number 2 on
Number
the books.
2. I'm still. I bought. The first one was Junji Ito. I am still waiting for that to arrive.
TBD.
Have not even received a shipping confirmation. That was supposed to ship around Thanksgiving, right?
Oh, didn't you know that they're too busy putting out new Secret Layers?
Oh
to
yeah, that's probably
fulfill
it.
the
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody the
Yeah,
the Commander Precon.
So, I know sometimes you can wait a year or more for a Secret Lair.
Gotta get that sick ass
with,
coin.
Yeah, with nothing to compensate you for your lost time. But yeah, so I pulled the
think
trigger
so.
on it. There was
this one.
I thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It has a Sarah Ascendant, which I'm pretty sure there's only one foil ever, and I think it's $80 or something like that right now.
I think there's 2 foils.
Okay.
They were printed a couple times in Modern Masters.
Okay. Still super expensive. Rapid Hybridization, which you don't see a lot, and the foil does get up there. The Demonic Consultation, which is a big boy for me.
New
Bingo.
art of the original printing from Ice Age. That art sucks.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
obviously, in my CDH deck, I have that combo, and I have the borderless foil, Thassa's Oracle. I have the sweet Double Masters Box Topper Tainted pack, but what I don't have, or not Double Masters Box Topper, it's the Strixhaven Japanese Archive.
Yeah,
was where
that
they
is
printed
that
that.
is a sweet
Yeah,
tainted.
That it was sick, but then I have to cast the dumbass non-foiled bad
man.
art.
Ice
Demonic
Age had a
Consultation.
lot of bad art, and
Yeah.
Demonic Consultation is one of the weaker key arts.
Well,
from
this
that.
is this is it's not a significant upgrade. I do think it's a necessary reprint, but comparing I guess another card that had a terrible artwork for a long time and it was a necessary staple, Mystic Remora.
Yeah, talk about highs and lows right there.
Yeah, and then they reprint it and it's give it one of the greatest artworks, top tier, one
of the
top
best, I think.
caliber,
It's so good.
artworks, just one of the best ever. And you reprint the Demonic Consultation, and while it is a really unique style, I think it's a really great card. I don't know. For me, it doesn't hit as hard as the Mystic Remora did.
It does not
Mystic-
hit-
Yeah, I mean, you're not a black mana
That's
guy.
I'm-
You're not casting Demonic Consultation in your lifetime, I think.
I don't.
That's actually probably a fair point. All right, so what else we got?
Land of War Elves and
Land of War Elves.
Winds of Change, which
That's
is a
right.
fun card.
Now, that's a card I'll cast.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I mean, it's only been printed, I think, one time. Twice.
No, Winds
Yeah.
of Change, it has the original printing, and then I think it got hit with Chronicles and
Like
Okay,
a
so a few
third
times.
edition.
seventh
It
edition.
keeps
It has
sneaking up,
some,
though.
It has some white border printings that
has-
aren't so attractive.
When nobody
it has
wants.
one black border print, which
Right.
is where that is what is
I
important.
see.
Which has a decent art.
Yeah.
I like that art.
Yeah, I do too. It's the only one I bought, and I'm lucky I did. I got it for $10, and
Yeah,
it was
this one-
45, and I'm just like, yeah, thank you. I just wanted the black border, honestly.
Yeah, that one looks sick. And then moving on, we have a Frank Franzetta set, which
Great
shout out,
artist.
shout out old school, just fantasy artists in general.
One of
Yeah.
the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah,
Pretty
hugely influential
Yeah.
illustrator. When I was in New York last time, I saw some of his art in person. Just incredible line work, truly impressive. One of the greatest of all all times. If you've never heard of this guy
Look it up.
before, look it up. Definitely, you're going to recognize some of the key images because it's been reprinted everywhere. It's some of the coolest shit that's ever been drawn.
A little aside, do you guys know Death Saves, the clothing brand?
Yep.
Joe Manganiello, it's his whole like D&D meets streetwear metal band tee vibe. And he had a whole Frank Vanzetta set, and like the shirts were awesome.
Okay, I kind of want something from
And I think everybody listening to this should go spend money on that than on this Secret Lair of the Vanzetta.
Yeah, I know you
Or for
guys-
sure, or from the Frazetta estate. It's still like controlled by his daughters and everything. Like spend money on that. The you know.
I'm just saying that the cards that they chose are like, meh, I don't think the value is
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
question mark?
we can list off the cards, but like, you know, as much as psyched as we all were for this guy's art, and as much as we're talking him up, would have taken one decent card. Wouldn't even need value. One playable card for me to pull the trigger on this.
Give him the demonic consultation. Imagine that.
Oh my god!
Imagine that
now
shit.
that would have been crazy. You could have just printed the dark ritual as demonic consultation.
Seriously.
I would have bought the whole thing.
Seriously.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's got dark ritual in there, but I mean, value
many
proposition
times?
again.
Yeah.
Like,
How many times have
you
they
know,
printed?
I mean, basic
paying
lands-
$50 to get this bundle for a dark ritual versus paying 25 cents.
Yeah, basic
Yeah.
lands are playable. Like, we're not saying that nothing in this set is, or in this drop is playable. Like, Dark Ritual is clearly playable. There are a couple of cards
There's
that
temporal
are
manipulation,
playable.
which is popular, and then you get a foil version of that. Field
I
Marshal.
mean, if you're
Veteran
playing
Reaper,
taking
seize the
turns, I
day.
guess.
Yeah, but I will say the temporal manipulation art with this like trumpeteer, he's like awesome. But I just think there could have been so many better reprints
Yeah.
to like take advantage of having such an esteemed artist on.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
the Field Marshal is only really great. It's
Give us a Liliana or something. You know?
that would have been sick.
100%.
Yeah,
So-
the field marshal there has value. I think it more in constructed than it does commander. We're just looking at this, and I think that, like in general, Secret Lair is built to satisfy the commander fan base because they're only giving you one copy of any card, which just coincidentally is all you need for commander decks. So, like for constructed fans, people who want to play this field marshal in the up and coming soldier builds. It just, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow to either spend the money on the singles or buy 4 of these drops because that is an artwork that I would want in every single soldier deck that I'm building and constructed.
for every single one.
Yeah, just look at it.
Yeah, I mean it's good. Okay, so moving on, then we have the really boring Eldrazi set. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't care about Eldrazi.
No.
I don't think the art's that interesting. To me, it just looks like exactly like all the other Eldrazi art.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, that art was not in need of an upgrade.
It's
I
nice.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice they reprinted Thought Not Seer, like Cease Play in Modern sometimes.
Okay. I don't mind the borders, like the lack of borders and the way they did a framing on it, but I just think, I've seen it. It's not anything new. I don't know why I'd spend $40.
I think they're all...
There's not even a freaking Kozilek in here.
I think it's a landscape thing, too. I think they all connect in a landscape.
It's like Inquisition of Kozilek, Thought Not Seer, Reality Smasher. Can we just print the 3 cheapest to get your hands on Eldrazi possible?
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
there's plenty of Tron players or something that want this. Maybe
I mean,
it's just not
Fucking
for us.
Go nuts.
Yeah.
Go nuts. All right, moving on to something way more interesting. And believe it or not, has an Ulamog in it.
Yeah, bum, bum, bum. This
There
is
it
my
is.
favorite.
Yeah.
but,
I think this is really cool. This just add milk where it has the front and back, and they're like cereal boxes.
yes, there's even a word search on the back of the Galta.
Yeah, so we have Galta, Atali, and Ulamog. You only get 4 cards in this set, I guess, or 3 cards in the set, I guess, because they had to go through the labor of printing another art on the
They're
back.
double-sided, yeah, I'm guessing. Like, I don't think that it actually deters me from wanting to buy this either. Like, just the fact that there's 3, it's because the artworks are so cool.
The creativity,
and
the
unique.
art through the roof, fucking great, I will say.
Through the roof on this one,
The-
for sure. It reminds me of like a Saturday morning. I'm watching cartoons and I'm eating cereal. I'm
Yeah,
back
the
on-
Atali.
Yeah, the vibes are right there.
Yeah. And like, I think Galta's pretty expensive. Ulamog is definitely expensive. Atali's not, but it is the best art, I guess you could say, for Atali. I will say I love the all the info for the card being in the nutritional text in the
Yes.
backs. In the back. I think it's freaking awesome. So
Yeah, this is one of the most unique sets we've seen in a long time.
100%.
And
this is why like Secret Lair should be existing. It's not just to
Right.
like fucking milk every last drop out of your customer base. It's
pun
to do
intended, because I'm gonna buy like 4 of
just
them.
add just add consumer milk.
Consumer milk.
Yeah, I think they should keep doing cool shit like this.
Yep.
Great. Moving on. We have this thing. No idea what it's called. It is all mono blue stuff except for Well of Lost Dreams. We got a Force for Ocean. Nobody's going to play that. Future Sight, same deal. Mind's Dilation, sure. Mental Misstep. I'm kind of into that.
Yeah.
I think the original artwork is just so savage and awesome that this artwork
It is hard.
kind of misses the mark.
True.
You know, like,
I feel that.
Yeah, Jordan does alters, and he did an alter on a Mental Misstep that just like expanded the border, and I think that
I like
is
that.
ultimately what I want from an artwork for Mental Misstep. But this one is cute. It's quirky.
It's got a little black cat on it.
Yeah, it fits the vibe and of the drop, not of what the card actually does.
Correct.
But the flavor text is also really good too.
It is pretty great. It's got a black cat on it, and it says pause. PAWS.
Stop 'em.
Hey.
Very counterspell vibe, but with a cat flair.
You can say collaborate and listen when you cast that, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, moving on. We have one I'm a little bit more excited about, I will say. This is probably one, if I'm going to buy any of these up front, it's going to be this one. It's more of these retro border, retro text planeswalkers. A few key differences being, I don't know, to me, better planeswalkers. And also, the text is less terrible.
Yeah, better formatting. Finally.
Yeah, the formatting,
Yeah.
like the old text before, it was just, I wanted to bash my brains into the wall. It's a little more palatable now.
Yeah, Narset, Parter of Veils, Nisa
Yes.
Who Shakes the World, and Tezzeret, Agent of Bolus. Those are all relatively playable.
Yeah, and I like that they're doing all of the retro effects on the borders, like the old school blue and green. Love that. Like I'm a blue Magic player always, and like the retro blue is foil is like one of the best parts about Magic for me.
Let's hope they just don't single layer the foil here and foil over
Oh,
the
they
image. I really hope that the images are not foil and that
Or on
they're
a different layer.
Yeah, or on a different layer.
I will say the Narset art is fucking awesome though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great art on all of these. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
really?
Narset is
It's
very
so good.
sick.
Yeah, even the Tezzeret artwork, I saw it and I was just like, wow. Just like
And-
freaking wow.
Foil Narsets ain't cheap.
Nope.
One of that foil Japanese Narset is one of like the most expensive cards ever.
Yeah, I think the Narset, if you look at comparatively to how Narsets are priced right now, the Parter Veils as foils, this whole drop is worth it for just like trying to get your hands on one of those.
Also, Nissa Who Shakes the World definitely sees play.
yeah. I think that's also a great card.
Yeah.
because it creates a 3/3 vigilance trample for permanently out
Yeah.
of your lands.
I mean, if they make a mat with that Narset art, I wouldn't have a hard time not buying.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So Ultra Pro chooses the most questionable secret layers to make mats out of, and they chose this time to make it out of the Transformers drops.
Oh,
Like,
love
it's the
that.
saddest thing in the world. 'Cause,
Love
like,
that.
you have so many cool artworks right here,
Love that.
and you chose the worst possible one.
Love that. Okay, moving on because that makes me mad. We're talking about this little cool acid trippy mushroom spore vibe.
Fungus thing.
Thank you, fungus
The
thing.
fungus thing.
Yes, so we are looking at abundant growth. I will say I love the art on these. The art on these
Yep,
is sick.
yep.
So we're looking at abundant growth, Mycoloth, Gave, Slimefoot the Stowaway, and you get a Saproling token. That's right, one of your cards is a token.
But this is going to be one of the most expensive tokens on the market.
But it's just a
afterwards.
token. I will say the art is absolutely sick. Anything to say here, guys? I'm not going to play
I
any of
will
these cards.
just buy the abundant
Yeah,
growth single.
I mean, this is not competitive CDH, but definitely EDH playable stuff.
Totally.
here.
Yeah, this is
And
what
tons of people play Gave.
this is the artwork that slime secret lair drop should have had, like the same style.
The
It's kinda
Mycoloth
wild.
art blows my mind. It
yeah,
looks
it's
so dope.
cool, so cool.
Even
the Gave is just incredibly well done. So
Yeah.
that Cthulhu vibe, very cool.
But as we all know, green's the worst color in Magic, and I won't play any of this. Moving on. This is probably my biggest miss of the set.
Wizards of the Street?
Wizards of the Street.
Really? Because my question is, Evan, how many of these are you buying?
Not buying any of them.
You're not buying any of these?
I'm not buying any of it. Like I
Yeah.
love like Baral is sort of like up there in price. The
Spell Seeker? Look at
The
the Spell Seeker.
I know. So I was
just
talking
don't love the
to
art on
Jordan
it,
about
dude.
this on the train, and I was like looking at it, and I'm just like, you know what you could probably do? You could probably buy this secret layer in foil, sit on it for 2 months, and then turn around and sell the Spell Seeker back, get a decent amount of store credit, and then buy whatever Spell Seeker you wanted. Because this artwork for
That
me
Judge Foil.
just does not hit, and I would much rather have the Judge Foil.
I really wanted to like this. Like, Spellseeker foil, obviously a sick call. Like a new Kess art, I was gonna get signed up for that immediately.
Like all these cards go together in the same deck. Like they at least
But-
can. Like it's like a cast deck.
I guess I'm just calling out this artist. I just don't like your art, dog.
And
I mean, that's what
that
Secret Lair is kind of about
Yeah,
for a lot
which
of
is
these.
totally fair. There's tons of people that are
everyone's
gonna love
got their
this.
own flavor.
Also, go capitalize on the fact there's a foil Spellseeker being reprinted for $40. Like, I mean,
And y'all might not like the cereal box stuff, and I'm okay with that.
yeah, you're wrong, but everybody's entitled
I mean,
to their wrong
everyone.
opinions.
Yeah, everyone can have opinions, unless you don't like Frank Frazetta, in which case, get fucked.
Absolutely
I
get
guess.
wrecked.
So the last little thing on this December super drop is the Transformers stuff. There's the Blightsteel
Transform.
Colossus, and that's pretty much all you need to know.
Got some more basic lands.
Oh
yeah, there's
shit!
some
Do you guys like basic lands?
Hey, basic lands.
The extra card got spoiled for one of them, and it's like a command tower.
It's Command Tower.
so sad.
Ooh,
Watch
needed
out.
a reprint.
Watch out.
In need of a reprint.
Is right.
You guys don't have any
Wizards,
spoiled
when you
Command
guys,
Towers.
when are they going to reprint Soul Ring? Like, it's in dire need.
Oh, last thing I want to say about this drop, and there's a promise it's the last thing. If you spend more than $200, you get a Scarab God.
A Scarab
Oh
God.
yeah, we
the
forgot the Just Add
exclusive-
Milk.
Yeah, it was sort of spoiled with the Just Add Milk drop, but it's an additional card for every $200 you get, or that you spend. You get a copy of a Scarab God.
And that's a decent card, right?
Yeah. Pretty great card, yeah. And I imagine that one's just going to be hard to find. So I'm definitely like looking at this and adding shit to my cart to make it 200.
How many Scarab Gods you getting, buddy?
At least one. I definitely want at least one because I know that single is going to be too much. It's going to be too tough of a pill to swallow.
I will
It'll be
say
a hot item. Yeah.
a lot of times, like, we just look at these for value and like price and can we flip it and all that stuff like that. But just looking at the Just Add Milk one, even if the money's not there, I've seen very few things in Magic that have given me so much joy recently.
For as much as we talk about value, we just love playing cool cards.
We love the game,
Yeah.
and like we love art,
Oh.
and we love funny, fun things, and this is just freaking awesome.
Yep. Whoever I don't know who the artist is, but whoever did that art, like, please do more Magic.
Yeah, and whoever had the
Yeah, for
idea
sure.
to set that up, and like whoever art directed that, like that's great. Whoever art directed some of those other things, you need to look for a new job.
Yeah, you can start looking for a promotion.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's get into our main topic. Just a quick reminder: we're talking about card evaluation. This is probably going to be an evergreen topic. We'll talk about it all the time from time to time. It's kind of just how do you approach it? How do you, when you look at a card, apropos of, you just blank slate, you don't have any preconceptions in your head. Do you look at it? How do you know it's a good card?
I think every set we have to ask ourselves this question over and over. Every spoiler season that comes out,
Yep.
it's like every time a card gets I guess like reeling back to like New Capenna, like the best example I can give is Ledger Shredder. Like it came out and no one evaluated it properly, and then it dropped at $2, and now try to get your hands on one.
Yep, exactly right. So yeah, not only for like evaluation stuff, we look at that when a new set is coming out and is getting spoiled for draft. We need to be kind of more prepared for that. But we also look at it as, what can we buy early before it gets too expensive, and maybe look at flipping it or like, buying a couple and just sitting on them for a long time for the collection. And so I think card assessment kind of comes into play for all these factors.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors, and there's just layers to it all because like all these cards are going to have their different purposes in limited, sealed, like constructed and eternal formats, all of that.
Right. So this is a big topic, so let's narrow it down a little bit. Just talking about the most recent draft experience we've all had together is Brothers War.
Yeah, we've been dabbling quite a bit in the draft scene on Arena with this, and I think it's just like helped bolster our opinions on like what we think and how we evaluate these cards.
Yep.
That most recent.
I mean, evaluation happens in context, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
So you're going to get your initial perspective on it when you just see the list spoiled, and then once you see it, like when you're playing it or you see someone playing it against you at a draft, and you start kind of clicking and the wheels start turning. For me, that's one of the best parts about Magic.
Yeah.
So Evan, what are you talking about? Like, what kind of card are you looking at for Brothers War? And like how you maybe assessed its value? Is it good or bad?
I actually wanted to change mine last second.
Okay.
So I was looking at Misery Shadow, and I think we all just know that card's good. I want to look at the card sitting right next to it, and that is Mechanized Warfare.
Yo. Okay.
Because like there were plenty of drafts where I had the opportunity to take this, and I did.
So this is real quick. A 1 red enchantment. It says essentially if an artifact or red source you control would deal damage to a player, it deals 1 more damage.
Yeah,
instead.
to anything. You know, just
Or
deal
to true.
damage to anything. It just deals 1 additional. And like while that effect like reads really, really good, like I felt like there were going to be enough options in draft for this to like for the payoff to be there to like help me win games. But I if I'm being real with you, it just does not pull the weight you think it does for a rare.
Right. Well, here's the funny thing. I have the kind of an opposite context from you, and this kind of all speaks to, you know, how card assessment varies. I did not think this was that good initially when we were drafting, but now switching over and playing a little more constructed on Arena, mono red aggro has been up my ass lately, and a lot of them are doing quite well with this as their top end.
Context in mono red aggro, mono red aggro always has most of the tools in every constructed environment. It's just the difference of does it have a couple little things to push it over the edge. So in context, this card is the necessary piece that pushes it over the edge. You know, or
I can't tell you how many times I've lost to this card. Like I lost a matchup on a fight. I've just died just because it burnt out, and I was accounting for, you know, the 2 damage, 3 damage on these burn spells, and all of a sudden they're becoming 3 to 4 damage. Just changed the game.
Yeah, this card has a wider like view than like let's say Cavalcade of Calamity. Like in constructed, I see Cavalcade all the time where that card is a 1 in a red enchantment that says whenever a creature you control attacks, it deals 1 damage to defending player before blocker,
right,
before damage and all that. So like in a lot more aggressive decks in
go wide strategies,
Pioneer, like go wide, like mono red weenies. Essentially, like that is the card that they're trying to like use. But in standard right now and constructed for sure, mechanized warfare is just seeing so much more play than that the Cavalcade ever did because it encompasses so many more cards. Like you can use so many more cards that fit under this umbrella that do the additional damage. And that's essentially why I evaluated it so highly. I figured that when we were playing this set, because it is Brothers War and there's all these artifact creatures and there's, you know, if you can focus into this, like funnel your strategy towards this card, you're likely to create a consistent strategy that doesn't necessarily need it, one, but when you have it, you definitely break parity. Like there's winning games.
There's lots of cards that do better when that's on the board.
Yes.
Yeah, there's lots of other pieces that fit with it.
Like a lot of the unearthed stuff is in red and they're all mostly artifact creatures, or they all are artifact creatures, so you would assume like, hey, this is going to deal 1 more additional damage on top of that, which is going to be the difference in a 20 life game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it kind of seemed too small to me at first of an effect, but having played against it plenty of times at this point, it sucks to play against.
Yeah.
If I don't have interaction for it on the stack, I feel like I get locked out pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, mono red is gonna win if it has enough gas. So if you put a little more gas in the tank, anything that does that is gonna push it over the edge.
100%. That's a little more gas for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't have card draw. It doesn't have anything. It just deals additional damage, which is all red wants to do.
Yep, exactly. I mean, just like in a small vacuum sense, you know, Lightning Strike is the new Lightning Bolt in Standard right now. It's 1 in a red, 3 damage still, and I'm playing mono blue with the Haughty Djinn. Haughty Djinn is 4 toughness. All of a sudden, Lightning Strikes are taking out 4 toughness creatures, and that really starts warping things in a different perspective that red has not had access to.
For 30 years, the Lightning Bolt 3 toughness line has been one of the core metrics for like evaluating a card.
Right. You start shifting that just a little bit into your favor, you know, and things start changing for sure. So I think red is actually honestly a really good spot right now with a lot of the recent prints. This set especially did a lot for red, I think.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, in draft, this card not so great. In larger constructive formats, this card's great.
If you draft a card,
again, context.
Context, the evaluation here.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you draft a goated mono red deck, like if you get past all the aggro Pendragon Strongbulls and whatever that 1-drop menace.
Oh my god, the Strongbow is insane with this.
Yeah, the Strongbow goes fucking crazy, bro.
100%.
Yeah. So Yeah, I think there's some context, but yeah, I mean, it is definitely better in a mono red shell, which is hard to kind of do sometimes when you're drafting. Chris, what about you? Like anything from the set that kind of stuck out to you or that you had some initial assessment on?
Yeah, Phyrexian Dragon Engine.
Yeah.
And I got to say, this one worked out for me. I feel like it definitely did work for me in games. So it's an artifact creature, 3 colorless, I believe 2/2 double strike with unearth at 2 red, 3 colorless. And when you unearth it, you discard your hand, or you may discard your hand and draw 3 cards.
Yes.
So I saw this card in draft, and I immediately went for it. Like, just it's not ignoring the meld, because the meld is not going to happen in draft, right? But a 2/2 double strike for 3 colorless, I can just slot that in any deck. So first of all, pulling that out of the pack, going, all right, this goes in any deck. Great. And that's a great strategy for Brothers War, like pursuing the artifact creature lines. It just gives you
really
lots of possibilities as you go through the draft. But then the other part of that is looking at the unearth ability, which mirrors Ox of Agonis or Ox of Agonis or whatever how you pronounce it, which definitely put in work in the standard environment, and seeing that ability and knowing how that gave decks just like tons of gas late in the game, which, card draw is something missing from a lot of draft environments, because you don't have that pool to concentrate your card draw effects. So just seeing those things on the card, and in addition to the body not being so bad, it's a good rate, 2/2 double strike. Just those things, I saw that card and I was like, this card is going to be a beast for me, and it was a beast. Like, I got to say, like, it put in work.
Yeah, I've been hot on this since I saw it. Like, I saw it just like you said, 3 colorless mana, 2/2 double strike in the draft format.
Double strike's real good.
Takes over the game. You
4 damage is gonna take care of most opposing creatures.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a decent amount of like bump spell, like things that like add a +1/+1 counter, or just like or buff spell like that just for the turn. And then all of a sudden you start doing the math, and I'm like, oh, double strike is twice that amount. And all of a sudden it's a 5/5 hitting for 10. And it just gets insane.
The unearth becomes like a side benefit. It's not even like your main goal anymore. You're just trying to put buff a 3 mana 2/2 double strike.
Well, they're 1 or 2 pieces of removal in a 40 card deck. They're gonna send it at that Phyrexian Dragon Engine, and then turn 5. Hey, it's back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I reloaded my hand along the way.
Yes. Yeah. For me, it was the discard your hand, draw 3 cards. That was the undervalued part on my end. Like I drafted it one time, and I was playing against Evan, and we were just sitting in my graveyard, and we had like gassed out into like a super late game, and I just looked down, and I'm like, oh, I had no cards in hand. I was like, oh, I could just draw 3 right now.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like when you're looking at a card, discard your hand being in the rules text is like a hint from Wizards, like, hey, maybe reevaluate this.
Yes.
Like a lot of the best cards in Magic include that in their rules text, like Lion's Eye Diamond right there. Yeah.
I mean, I underevaluated Bomat Courier for a long time, but that card is great.
All right, well, sweet. I'll get to my thing from Brothers War Draft. This was from the very first pre-release draft we did, the pre-release. I went in blind. I didn't do really any research going into it. And for me, it was Levitating Statue. I love that card.
You still sing its praise.
I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
Target it in draft.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do. I don't think, now that I've drafted Brothers War maybe like 15 times at this point, I target it maybe a little less, but I still think in the right build. If you're in like an aggro Izzet deck kind of build, I think it's great. It's a 2-mana artifact with flying, and then you pay 2 mana and it becomes a 1/1 creature. It also has the other text. It says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So you just kind of get this unassuming 2-drop that just starts building counters. I put it in like the Prowess deck with the 3rd Path Iconoclast, the blue-red guy that makes soldiers, as well as I pulled Monastery Swiftspear, so you get a little Prowess trigger going. The Wing Commando, so you're buffing that guy in the air. And so I was like, oh, Wing Commando's pretty broken good, plus the statue is kind of a backup on that. You're kind of getting all these like ledger shreddery type of effects,
So you're finding like things that work with it, and then also like it's reminding you of other cards that have worked well for you.
Totally, yeah, exactly. Great point. It's just like I'm seeing similarities to other cards in the past that have been successful. Ledger Shredder's a great card. I know by losing to it all the time that flyers are great in draft. So in my head, I'm like, maybe I should start pulling flyers. And then I saw this thing after knowing that Wing Commando was really good. I saw this and I'm like, holy shit, this is essentially Wing Commando and adjacent.
Yeah, I mean every draft set has that 2 and a blue 2/2 flyer with keyword mechanic,
Which is usually a good card.
Yeah, usually great.
Usually a decent card.
Especially since it falls in the common slot every single time.
Yeah. So this just backs that up, and it was pretty easy to put together a strategy from there. You wanted the prowess, so you get some removal, some combat tricks, like Red is wanting to do. Whirling Strike was really good in that set, I found. And then I found a lot of the times that people did not assess that card properly. I would just cast it, and they're like, what's that do? Okay. And just forget about it. And then 3 turns later, they swing at me, and I go to block, and I have a 4/4, and I kill their 3/3 that they were not expecting. And they're like, wait, what does it do? And then they read the actual card for the first time. And I love cards like that. I love cards that just have way more value than what they read on the card.
Yeah, people don't see that it's a 1/1. Otherwise, it would die as soon as you activated it.
Correct. Like, you'd have to have a counter on it before you activated it. But yeah, so they don't see that. They see the die of how many counters I'm keeping track of, but they don't see that when I play it 2 to make it into a creature, it gets technically 1 bigger.
Right.
And that I found was a pretty nifty combat trick in several of my drafts, actually.
Yeah, I guess card evaluation in this set has been so kooky. It's
true.
Like the colorless creatures, and I guess I don't want to like funnel this discussion into just talking about this set, but we want to expand on after this. But like the colorless creatures, I think were the prototype creatures weren't properly evaluated until later on. People were able to do more drafts, and I think that we're going to see that moving forward in other sets too. Like Constructed, you're going to see that those prototype creatures don't necessarily need to be in decks that run the prototype colors. Like you can still get there, reanimation or just later in the game.
Set has a ton of.
They got one mode that's going to work every time.
Yeah.
And if you get the second mode, it's gravy. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Phyrexian Fleshgorger is amazing.
When they
even at 7.
Even at 7.
It's a great top end.
I feel like a lot of times when Wizards in the past has done alternative costs on cards, or I don't know if this is technically an alternative cost. It's definitely not an alternative cost in the term of art, how that's used, but it's something similar. In the past, when they've done it, there's definitely been one cost that's way better than the other cost.
Yeah.
Whereas on these prototype cards, it's just, I feel great about, casting it at either.
Yeah. Fleshgorger on 3 is great. Fleshgorger on 7, great.
Yeah. Steel Seraph, great at 3.
Steel Seraph is cracked.
5 or 6 for the other one, but it's like still great even then.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, prototype will shed an ability. It definitely sheds power and toughness. But man, it's good at both CMCs.
Yes, it is.
It's great design on these cards.
Yeah. I think that overall the set, great design entirely. I haven't had a bad experience with just an exclusively like Brothers War Draft or pre-release or sealed or whatever. So evaluating cards from this set has been iffy. I think it's taken time to like, and that's what's going to take it for you to understand, like you, our listeners out there, to like really understand a set is just play it a bunch. You're going to start like seeing interactions you didn't see before, and like that comes down with like new commander decks you're building. Like you're going to see things that you think are going to work really, really well, and you're going to play 3 or 4 games and you finally see that interaction you thought was going to work really well come up, and it just doesn't. It's experience. It's like getting out there, seeing what other players are doing and everything like that. It's going to ultimately improve your assessment abilities and how you evaluate cards.
Totally. And shout out our last episode talking about playing other formats, and I think it really kind of bleeds into this topic of playing other formats teaches you to assess the same card on very different levels.
Yep. You don't get locked into your tunnel vision of just
exactly.
like, well, I know these lines of play. You've seen other lines of play. You've seen different contexts for the cards.
Right. You like to play the same colors all the time, so you see a same card in the same context, but you splash a different color, and now different cards are interacting with the same card you're used to.
And I'm enjoying the game more because of that. Because we've been playing different formats. There have been so many times
much more interesting.
I see a set, and I just go, well, there's like 3 cards I would play for Commander, you know?
Yep.
But
exactly what I was getting to. It's just like you see a set and we're like, is it CDH viable? Is it busted? Can I put it in a CDH deck? No. What about a casual commander deck? No. All right, move on.
Is it playable in modern?
Or you're like, maybe 4 cards for commander. All right, cool. But then all of a sudden now we're like, all right, so we're looking at it. We got to get ready for the draft. What are the great commons and uncommons? So that's my favorite part about that and getting started there. And then seeing kind of the way the flavor and lore of the actual set bleeds in with the mechanics is always really interesting. And I feel like that gets missed sometimes when you're not just there taking in the single set as a draft or pre-release experience. And then moving into all of a sudden now if we're doing it on Arena, now all of a sudden we have all these cards, so might as well build some constructed decks and see how they play in Standard.
Yeah, shout out to the designers at Wizards of the Coast. Like,
highly undervalued.
Did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, you are having to crank out 1,000 sets every year at this point, and I just don't know how you do it without killing yourselves. But I feel like we're about to have like a real, I don't know, China factory making iPhone situation pretty quick here.
Yeah, we'll see how it all irons out. But yeah, the real MVPs at Wizards of the Coast are right now the designers who are balancing this game and all facets. I know that like not every format is balanced at its core, but like these people who are putting in all this hard work have definitely gone the lengths to make sure that draft, sealed, standard, Pioneer are all balanced. Right
They're even factoring Commander now, and they have to factor in all these different formats.
Wording is very important.
And there you go, threat assessment on all these different levels that these guys have to keep track of, while they're making the game.
Yeah, I would say that like as an experienced player, and you like even you as you get out there and you're playing draft more and you're evaluating cards, when you start taking commons over the rares in the packs, that's when you start seeing more W's in your win column.
When you start big brain in it, you're like, I need this uncommon because it works great with these 3 commons I just picked up. All of a sudden the machine's going. Now it's just like, if I get a rare, perfect. It fits in, great. If not, whatever.
Yeah, it kind of like, I remember playing draft way back in the day, and it was not a rare redraft, which I'll explain in just a second, but we used to just open packs, crack them, pass, and if there was a valued card in there, you would just take it because of the monetary value and pass and go and go and go, and you would be like, am I even playing this? No, I'm setting it off to the side.
Yeah, you build a deck, but hey,
you
cool,
I
pulled a cool card while I did it,
Yeah, and so you just pass it off to the side and you're just like, that's mine now. But the one thing that like has changed like me as like when I get together with my friends and I decide I want to draft is doing a rare redraft, which is like you all draft and you build a deck and then you play, you kind of set up like a bracket or you do a round robin and you keep track of your record, see who has had more wins, and the tiebreaker usually comes down to like, oh, did you beat Jordan? Well, Jordan lost to Chris, and and then
the 2 people who tied the winner of that match.
And you can iron things out that way. But what happens is at the end of it, everyone takes all of their rares and value cards and puts them back into the middle, and then the person who did the best that day gets first choice, and then second gets the next choice, and so on and so forth, and then you just cycle until all the value cards have been claimed or taken, or whatever.
Promotes good deck building in the draft.
Yes.
It promotes like accurate card assessment instead of just going for the chase.
Yeah, the last time we did that, I took home a Stoneforge Mystic, which I think, Jordan, you were the one that drafted that initially, and you didn't even play it.
We did a chaos draft, and there was at least like 4 to 6 Kamigawa packs in the draft, and nobody opened an equipment. There was 2 equipment.
That's true.
And they were dog shit equipments. So I just I didn't mean to just pick one the mythic, but I thought I was gonna have a natural synergy, and I just never saw it. So yeah, I set it aside.
Yeah, I think Ritter's just rubbing it in right now.
Yeah, I mean, shout out.
He's just bragging.
Well, I mean, that also goes into like card assessment. Like Stoneforge is a great card, and it's a multi-format all-star, and you thought it would put in that work in our draft because we had a lot of equipment-heavy sets, and it just didn't work out that way.
But it's a card in draft that is not good by itself. It requires you to draft a certain type of way, and like that feeds into card assessment,
Yeah. I mean, that's something that, because you grabbed that out of the first pack you opened, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you definitely make that move, but maybe if you're drafting, you see Stoneforge on like the 3rd pack, it doesn't
take it.
Yeah, you don't take it because you probably didn't take a lot of other equipment along the way.
Right, if you happen to, like, hell yeah, go for it. But yeah, it's hard to plan for it.
What was the kunai thing that you kept going for?
Oh god. Yeah, it was the only equipment in my entire deck, bro. It was whatever the kunai from Neon Kamigawa was.
Games were fought over the kunai because Jordan and I had our first match against each other, and it was just like crazy because any 3 damage, even though the kunai would just go away forever, any 3 damage in the positioned properly would derail my whole board. And so I was just spending removal on like while
ended
he
up
was
being
tapped out, like
5 mana tutor for a 3 damage spell out of your
Yes.
deck, and
Yeah,
it was awful and not good. But we wasted a lot of time fighting over it. That's
we
for
did
sure.
fight a lot over it in the game. But yeah, it's great to like have someone be rewarded for proper card evaluation and proper assessment. And
Yeah, you just built a better deck.
yeah, you built a better deck, and like you searched out the key strategy points, and chaos drafts definitely make it like kind of crazy.
Make it insane. Yeah.
But yeah, congrats, Ritter, on the Stoneforge.
GG's.
Hey.
GG's.
And to all of you out there who are drafting and just kind of keeping like the Chase Mythics as you open packs, just maybe encourage your friend group to try the rare redraft.
Yeah, if you're not
just
drafting a
once. If you
store,
don't like
you-
it, just go back to what you're doing.
Yeah, if you're just driving with friends, not at the store, I think it's a great idea. Like,
Try new stuff, guys. In Magic,
Turns
in
out-
life.
in life.
Yeah, maybe you'll find something you like.
moral of the
Yeah.
episode: try new things.
Yeah, try new things.
You never know what you'll find.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm actually good. This is everything I want to
That
talk
was
about.
a great note to end on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
no,
extremely positive. Evan started off on a real low, and
Real
Chris and
off-brand.
What did I how did I start off?
cut back to it real quick for the audience.
I'll make sure to edit it out.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the MoxStars podcast. If you liked listening to us, we have a couple more episodes out. Check them out on YouTube, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcasts.
Do that subscribe thing.
Also do that subscribe thing, dude. We got all the stuff down below, Insta, all the socials, all that bullshit. Hit us up. Otherwise, we'll see you next Friday for another episode of the MoxStars podcast. Peace.
Bye-bye.
See ya.